Monday, June 24, 2024. Welcome to CVM News at noon. I'm Nika Lewis. Opposition Senator Peter Bunting is calling for the immediate resignation of the board of the Southern Regional Health Authority, led by Wayne Chen. The South Manchester MP has issued a stern call for accountability following, well, he's an MP candidate, but he says this is coming after a staggering tenfold increase in maternal mortality rates within the Southern Regional Health Authority. The maternal death rate has surged from 26 per 100,000 live births in 2017 to an unprecedented 273 per 100,000 by 2022. He described the tenfold increase as, quote, not only alarming but absolutely unacceptable, and maintains that such drastic declines in healthcare quality demands immediate action and accountability. He also refuted claims that financial constraints are to be blamed, highlighting significant funding provided to the Ministry of Health. This, he says, includes $4 billion from the European Union earmarked for hospital upgrades, as well as the $700 billion that remains unaccounted for due to inadequate record keeping and financial oversight. Mr. Bunting pointed to alleged poor management, waste, and corruption as the primary culprits. He says there can only be two explanations for this catastrophic failure. He adds either the board has completely neglected its supervisory responsibilities or it has not been provided with the necessary resources to perform its duties. In either case, there continues to be leadership challenges. Now, the opposition PNP has today continued its full throttle critique of the island's healthcare sector, and this time claiming there are fewer than 40 adult ICU beds available across the country. In a statement early Monday, Shadow Minister for Health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, accused the Health Minister of being evasive regarding the true number of beds, suggesting that before the pandemic, there were fewer than 35 proper ICU spaces.
We cannot have the greatest capital budget in years, coming out of a pandemic where we had the largest spend on healthcare, and we are no better off in terms of critical care capacity. We need to know, are there less than 40 ICU beds in Jamaica to serve the population or not? And if so, what is being done to improve the ICU capacity?
Dr. Dawes' latest criticism comes amid a public spat over the number of ventilators available, concerns which the Health Ministry has since moved to address. Despite assurances from the Health Minister it has adequate machines for patients, Dr. Dawes says the island's intensive care units lack capacity.
Patients who are bleeding or suffering from other medical illnesses are forced to wait to see if someone dies or gets better to come off a ventilator. Oftentimes, what obtains is that the staff in these ICU facilities, they are forced to make a decision of who gets to live and who dies.
In other news now, a fish kill once again in the Rio Cobre has left residents concerned about the safety of the animals and the environment. Residents in Zephyrton, Linstead, St. Catherine noticed dead fish lying on the riverbank this morning. Though the cause of the fish kill is unknown at this time, President of the Friends of the Rio Cobre, Kestonard Gordon, informed CVM News he is deeply saddened by the incident. It was only last week that a court case for major fish kills in the river was rescheduled for later this year. Now the results are in, and based on the Ministry of Education's reports, the nation's students have done better in the primary exit profile PEP examinations when compared to last year. Speaking on Lead Story recently, the ministry's Student Assessment Unit Manager, Terry and Thomas Gale, said the teachers worked harder this year, having gone back to the drawing board.
The performances this year, they were really good. They're impressive. I was particularly happy. I am happy because our teachers and students would have put in the work and we're seeing the results. We were very targeted in how it is that we are approaching teaching and learning. And so as a system-wide, we use data. So the students who sat PEP this year for 2024, when we looked at their grade 5 data, it was very dismal, especially in mathematics. We saw that a large percentage of our students were at the beginning. And so what we did, we pulled those schools with those students and we did some retraining with our teachers, and very targeted and deliberate. The teachers were impressed. The feedback from the workshops, the training, showed that most teachers view the training as excellent or above average, and what it challenged them to do was to go back into their schools, into their classrooms, and develop work plans for students.
In a bold move to enhance public health and cleanliness of the city, the mayor of Kingston continues to spearhead significant improvements to the Crossroads Market. Trisha Gay Kelly has more.
The Cleaner Kingston initiative, spearheaded by the new mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, has made significant improvements to the Crossroads Market. In partnership with the Kingston and St. Andrew Health Department, several recommendations were implemented to ensure the health and safety of citizens who use the facility. Among areas of concern was the meat house on the property.
We have effectively addressed this by washing and sanitizing the facility. We also conducted a 2-day extermination exercise. The countertops have been resurfaced with stainless steel sheeting as recommended by the Public Health Department.
Additionally, renovations were made to improve infrastructure and overall hygiene.
The parking area was resurfaced and a chain link fence installed along the adjoining gully. 8 hand wash stands were also installed. The sanitary convenience at the facility were also refurbished, and we are in the process of constructing a garbage bay.
Swaby says his intention is not for this cleanup to be a one-time project. Therefore, it will be ongoing.
It will be an ongoing thing. The fumigation, matter of fact, there has been some recommendation about how often the fumigate will be an ongoing thing, because you have to, you see, if you leave the place to be still at sense of rot and decay, it become a normal for people. What we want to do is to continue maintain our facilities to make sure that we give our residents who deserve better the best facility we can have within limited resources.
The upcoming second phase of the Cleaner Kingston initiative will tackle garbage collection in commercial areas.
And one thing I want to engage the National Service Management Authority is that how can we go in now to these companies to make sure that they have a valid contract with a reputable service provider to collect this garbage. Because if you come downtown at night, most times you see the boxes from these that's put out the front for the National Surgeon to collect. So that is the task, and that will be the second phase of the Cleaner Kingston.
Mayor Swaby addressed the concerns at his inaugural quarterly media briefing on Thursday. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
According to the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, lifestyle diseases are the leading cause of death in the region. It's for this reason that some entities are urging Jamaicans to get life insurance. Speaking on Sunrise this morning, Senior Life Advisor at the Guardian Life Limited, Noel Codling, reassures life insurance is not only to cover death expenses.
Illness basically is the plans that we have that cover illnesses that are separate and apart from the lifestyle illnesses. So we're talking about illnesses like cancer, stroke, heart attack, coma, Alzheimer's disease, etc. So those are the type of things that we cover for, and it's what we call a living benefits plan. The type of society that we live in, our lifestyle preferences, how we eat and do things. So it is unwise for persons not to have critical illness. And so therefore, it is something that is extremely important for persons. If I just quickly want to interject, and this is somewhat personal, I'm here this morning because I had critical illness coverage.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it happened to me personally some 10 years ago when I was diagnosed with a critical illness. And so because I had the plan, I had the peace of mind I was able to get the money, take care of my illness, use some of it to do something else. And I'm here this morning to talk to you about it.
Right. Well, CVM News at Noon continues after this break.
Take care of Grandpa.
Saka, it work.
Bag it and pin it, every rubbish in a pan. No dirty up the place, this happy we island. So keep Jamaica. Say me could do it, keep Jamaica clean. Make you listen to me please. No plastic bag, no fear blowing at the breeze. No proper garbage, disposal, recycle plastic, now make it full up in the streets. Bag it and pin it, every rubbish in a pan. No dirty up the place, this happy we island. So keep Jamaica. Say me could do it. A message from the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
SuperMed Family of Pharmacies, your trusted partner in health and wellness for over 30 years, with 8 convenient pharmacies across Eastern Jamaica. SuperMed Mall Pharmacy, SuperMed New Kingston, SuperMed Pepine, SuperMed Port Antonio Pharmacies 1 and 2, Claire's St. Mary, Lloyd's St. Thomas, and a convenient drive-through at our Hughenden location where you can get your medication without leaving your car. We're dedicated to providing you with the highest level of care. Experience the difference with SuperMed Family of Pharmacies. Super happy, super healthy.
And you go down and have a good day. Blessing. SuperMed.
Welcome back. It's now time for our discussion segment. Well, information has been around that the humanitarian and founder of the non-profit foundation Haiti Children, Susie Krabacha, has been denied entry into Jamaica twice. This follows allegations about the care being given to the 59 disabled Haitian children who arrived here from the violence-torn nation. We have joining us via Zoom to discuss these and other related matters Attorney at Law Marcus Goff. Welcome, Mr. Goff.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lewis. Thanks for having me.
Indeed. Well, Mr. Goff, these are some intriguing matters to discuss, but we always want to find out more. So can you provide us with an update on the situation regarding the founder of the Haiti Children Foundation?
Well, I really don't have any other information other than what I see is now available in the press. I mean, what we have heard really, is concerning, right? It really, as they say, intrigue, is a part of what we see is happening now, and it somehow, is of spotlight now because of the issue with the children, of course, of Haiti and Haitians in jeopardy, So what we hope is that this is something that is not going to detract from the situation, and it's not going to make it more difficult for us to assist those in need.
Indeed. Well, based on the reports that we would have seen in the papers, one of the indicators was that she may have been sent back at least from 2 separate airports on 2 different occasions. So would you perceive that any of her rights could have been breached by not being able to land?
Well, unless there's a legal basis that was, cited when she was refused entry, right, then there would be concern there. I mean, again, I don't have the full facts to be able to say what was the legal basis, if any, that was used, but certainly what we see in the press, as I say, is not clear to us on what legal basis she was refused entry, right? She has an interest here, certainly, in the context of the arrangement with her organization concerning the children that are placed here. And so, one would have some difficulty understanding, right, why the government would want to refuse her entry.
Right. Well, we are also interested in learning more about the situation impacting the children who are here in Jamaica, some of whom we understood were severely disabled. We understand there are some reports of maltreatment as well as some other infractions, so to speak, concerning how they're being handled here. Do you believe that the foundation could take legal action as a result?
Well, that question again, would require a lot more information and facts, but certainly, I mean, what does seem apparent, right, is that, maybe the sort of proper preparatory planning that would have been expected to have gone into, the process and the arrangements, right, in having such a large number of persons, of children, particularly the disabled children and orphans in that context also, moved from Haiti to Jamaica. I think it's something that we would need to also consider. Sometimes we may think that, arrangements are useful to help, but then if we don't properly think out all of the aspects and elements required, logistically, then you may find that actually it has unforeseen consequences, And certainly a group like this, as we have, with all of their vulnerabilities, we need to have proper sort of preparatory planning. And so, again, when we first heard the announcement, we were concerned. It did seem that there may have been, on the government's part, a seeming willingness to have this facilitated, right, as a response to some of the criticisms they were receiving at the time, right? And that is where we think there's, a need for us to properly look at the situation of Haitians in Jamaica, right? Their vulnerability. They're moving from a place of crisis into here, Jamaica, where they need to have proper facilitation. I mean, making available resources from the state, private sector, the churches, civil society, to make our Haitian family be able to be accommodated here, respect and dignity.
Understood. I know also that you have had your own experience and challenges perhaps with handling situations having to do with the Haitian and the migration situation. What were some of the hiccups, if any, that you personally encountered in trying to assist or lobby for the Haitians?
Well, we have a anti-Haiti stigma, unfortunately, in Jamaica and across the Caribbean, across the world, that is very pervasive. And that means that some persons then, feel that they are justified in having fear around engaging with Haitians, right? Some are fearful of, health concerns, others security concerns. And that means that sometimes it's challenging in persons being able to extend to the Haitians sort of equal treatment as we would ourselves want to, have extended to us if we were in similar situations, right? So that's been a challenge as well too in the society, and particularly, of course, as a lawyer in having access to, Haitians who are in custody at police stations. Again, it's a difficulty, somehow a challenge of, beyond just a language barrier. We have access issues where the police sometimes say that they can't facilitate because it needs more resources, because the Haitians are, are numerous, and because again they're seen as some sort of an extra flight risk, right? And so the security response, the response of Jamaica's government as a security issue prioritized over looking at this issue as a humanitarian issue is something that I think we would need to review. I mean, recently we heard that there's a humanitarian stay for all Haitians in Jamaica, which is a good thing, and so we're hoping that the government can move wholeheartedly in that direction and ramp up the humanitarian response as opposed to the kind of security response to the issue.
I want to quickly wrap up, but you mentioned something about translation and it being a challenge, especially in dealing with them in the system. Who does the translation typically? Do you have a limitation there?
Yes, most certainly. Certainly, when the Haitians are prosecuted and charged, they're brought before the courts, which